What are some godly and practical ways I can fight sexual temptation?
Well, I mean, I would spend a lot of time in Paul's epistles and Ephesians. I mean, really, just about every letter that Paul writes, you can tell he is saying, you are a new creation in Christ. Put to death those things in you, that sin that is still tempting you. Realize that you are, by being brought in unity with Christ, put to death, so nailed to the cross, those sins. And so really spend that time in Paul's letters where he is clearly articulating that fight against the flesh that is still happening, but knowing that you are totally dependent on Christ and his strength and not in your own to do that.
I love how Russell Moore talks about chaining the werewolf in the basement. He wrote a great column about this on russellmoore.com, and he talks about the werewolf half the time is a normal man in his right mind, and he knows he's a werewolf, and so he tells his friends, look, when the moon turns full, I need you to lock me in the basement, and no matter what I do and no matter what I say, do not open the door. And this is a gouge your eye out approach to sin. You know, Jesus said if your eye tempts you, gouge it out. And if your hand tempts you, cut it off. And of course, he wasn't saying literally take your eyeball out and put it on the table because you have two eyes, right? And you have two hands. But he was saying do whatever it takes to flee temptation because it will kill you, not just in this life, but the sexually immoral will not inherit the kingdom. And so whatever it takes to chain the werewolf up, and I think it involves community with, if you're a man, with your brothers, and say, look, I stumble in this way. I need your help. And you know, Dr. Moore also tells the story of a mom who said, our son, he's just hooked on internet porn, and we don't know what to do. And he said, well, you're going to have to get rid of the computers. And she said, oh, we can't do that. He said, what do you mean you can't do that? She said, well, our kids have to do homework. They've got to go online, and we've got our bank account online. And if that were my son, I would run the computer over with the car. Amen. I would never have an iPhone again. It is too costly to lose your life for the rest of eternity and to suffer conscious punishment in hell. We never even talk about this. But there's so much pain in this life, too. And so you got to chain the werewolf up. I think of my love for chocolate, and there are moments when I am more sane than others. And when I'm more sane, I don't buy it, and then it's not in the house. And so, you know, if it's a sexual temptation, in particular a computer, that seems to be the temptation we see so commonly, don't have a computer.
No. Candace, can you quickly clarify the sexually immoral will not inherit the kingdom? Because
there's another.
Some people hear that as I've sinned sexually and I'm not a believer.
No, and I don't mean that at all, because we are all broken sexually. We're all on that spectrum of brokenness. What I mean is someone who is persisting in willful sin, unrepentant. And so, for example, if you are living with your boyfriend, if you are having sex on a regular routine basis, you are living in sexual immorality of the kind that suggests that you are not submitted to the lordship of Christ.